Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope all of y'all are doing well. My name is Sue, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how exactly I was able to help scale one of my clients, Natt Jongsala, to 45K in revenue in just the first 24 days of working together. All right, this is going to be one of the most valuable videos you watch, especially if you own a coaching business yourself and you're trying to scale up your business with efficient systems that'll free up your time so that you're not bombarded with all these sales calls, all these appointment setting, and doing everything yourself. Now, this video is specifically meant for coaches that are looking to scale up. If you are a growth operator, you can watch this as well and use the same strategies I talk about in this video for your clients. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into my laptop, and I'll be showing you exactly how I've been able to scale up all of these guys. So as you can see, first 3 days, we did 10,600 cash collected and 19K in contracted revenue. Contracted revenue means that they will pay because they're on literal contracts, right? First 13 days, we did 40K in contracted revenue, 28K cash collected, as you can see right here. And then in the first 24 days, we did 45K in contracted revenue and 33K cash collected. So yeah, that's what we've been able to do. And scaling Natt's offer, it basically came down to 5 different pillars. The first pillar was sales assets, consulting on offer and fulfillment, appointment setting, offer, and the actual data review / stats, all right? These are the 5 pillars that it ultimately comes down to, and we'll be breaking down every single one of these pillars in detail so that you can implement it for your own coaching business. So the first part of actually scaling up the sales assets portion is a freebie. You know, we wanted to create a freebie that would generate us a ton of leads so that we had enough leads to kind of deal with, and so we wouldn't have to run paid ads or anything like that. It is one of the best strategies in 2024 to provide a freebie, collect emails, and basically have an infinite amount of leads. Especially with Natt's account, he had 180K followers, and so we really wanted to leverage his existing following to be able to make as much money as possible. The setter's goal was actually to turn these freebies into book calls, and we used this exact freebie script, all right? So it's the same, man, here's the link. What caught your interest with the free doc, by the way? How's that going for you? Blah, 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 just a bit of small talk. And the whole goal of them is to turn these freebies into book calls, because if someone wants a freebie, they want our service. They're saying that indirectly. And so with this script, we can kind of see whether or not it's a good fit, whether or not they're qualified, and how we can actually, you know, turn a freebie into a book call, all right? So the first question is asking for permission. You have to ask for permission. You don't just want to bombard them with 6 different questions. You want to ask for permission. So cool if I ask you a few questions to see if I can help you out. This is very, very important. Second one is awesome. So where are you from and what do you do for work? We need to know immediately whether or not they're qualified. Are they from India? Are they from the US? Are they from the UK? We need to know, all right? If we just, you know, carry on with the script, worst case scenario, we get to the end of the script and we found out they're from fucking India. That is the last thing we want, right? That is the last thing we want. So we have to ask this very, very early on. If they say they're from a third world country or have no job, we're gonna say this exact thing right here. We're gonna be honest, service multiple 4-figure investment, just be straight up with them. And there will be a few people that just kind of BS this question and say, yes, I have 4 figures. So you have to kind of teach your setters to be able to spot the difference, right? How to tell from a funnel hacker and someone that's actually interested in the offer. And then we ask, what's your ultimate goal? So get them to, you know, visualize it. Why is that important to you? So we understand, you know, what's the main motive behind them reaching out. And then we ask about their current situation. So more qualification. In case you didn't know, we really, really qualify these calls because if someone hops on a call with us, we don't want them to go through the appointment setting process, the closing process, just to find out that they have $0 in the bank. And so in the appointment setting, you want to ask 2 or 3 qualifying questions. Yes, it's a bit pushy, but it'll save everyone's time in the long term. We ask 2 qualifying questions in the DMs, and we ask 1 qualifying question in the Calendly booking page where we ask for the specific budget that they have, all right? So in total, it's 3 qualifications before they actually get the chance to book a call. And yeah, that is how we do it. So what's the biggest obstacle stopping you from achieving your goal? We need to diagnose them with a problem so that they actually show up to the call. This question really, really helps with the show up rate. We have anywhere from like an 85 to a 95% show up rate for Natt. And the reason why is because we've been able to really ask the questions that get them to show up on the call. If they know that they have a problem and we subconsciously diagnose them with a problem and say that you have this obstacle, what's stopping you from achieving it, then they're going to say, I need guidance. They're going to say, I need help, I need support, whatever it is. And that's when you say, is it a priority for you to get past this obstacle and achieve ultimate goal? If they say it's a 10, great, sounds good. I'd be happy to shoot over a link to schedule a call, propose a call. If they say it's an 8, ask them, why is it not a 10? So here, what we're doing is we're objection handling before the call so that, it makes the closer's job easier. The closer should literally have a 20-minute call where it's smooth. There's maybe 1 or 2 objections at max, and it's a smooth process. The closer should ideally have a closing rate between 40 to 50%. And so handling these objections beforehand is extremely crucial to be able to have such a high closing rate. It just makes the process 10 times easier. So that is how we turn a freebie into a book call. Now it's time to go to the VSLs. What do we have for the VSLs? Basically, we collect their emails and phone number for a newsletter. They have an opt-in page before watching the VSL. And then we have a potential to hire a phone setter and dial all these leads later down the line. We haven't done that quite yet, but it is an opportunity we can explore, all right? So VSL structure, you can check it out over here. I'm not gonna show you, but the VSL structure is very, very simple. All you have to do is write down how you can achieve desirable goal in time period without pain point. This is a statement that you wanna write in the actual VSL. And it'll target your ideal clients. The ideal clients will watch all the way because they wanna achieve this in X amount of time without the biggest pain point, right? So the first thing you want to do in the VSL is not go through your case studies, not go through your client results and all that stuff. They care about it, but not right now. The most important thing to get someone to actually buy your service is to get them to like who you are as a person. Get them to like your character, get them to like your story, get them to like your transformation. When you talk about your past story and you go over the exact insecurities you felt and the past objections and the past thoughts you had before you started out, they're going to realize that you were exactly like them. That is the entire goal of the story part of the VSL. Get them to realize that you are nothing special, that you were just like them 3-4 months ago, and you went through this really, really good transformation because of this specific product that you're selling to them. That's why they should have this product to achieve the outcome that you are promising them. So in this case, we were talking about Natt's transformation, how he went from making money online ventures, hopping on each different one, and he eventually found editing to make sure that, it was really, really good. And so the goal is to make your story so damn relatable. The goal is to make your story so relatable to them that it makes them say, damn, this guy was exactly like me. That is the whole goal of your VSL. Okay? When they realize that they were exactly like you, they are going to be sold on the process. So don't go over the process first. Don't go over the case studies. That doesn't matter. The thing that's going to get them to spend thousands of dollars with you is if they resonate with your story, your insecurities you had in the past, and they feel like you understand how they feel. As soon as you get these, I promise you, no matter what kind of program you have, you'll be able to sell it. Now, this is where it kind of gets, the typical stuff, who this is not for, who this is for, why everything you've tried has failed in the past, all this good stuff. Why is their offer/service different from everything else? So you actually need to portray your offer to be completely different, because chances are the people that are buying your program have already tried making money online. They've already tried past editing courses. They think it's a scam. Why is yours different from anyone else's? So in a sense, when you create your VSL, you have to portray the past experiences they had as a villain. That is not what you do. That is the last thing you're supposed to do, right? That's how you're meant to portray it. And then your new program is everything that they should be doing. And when you have that, when you portray the past experience as bad and you portray your program as really, really good, then they're gonna realize that they've been doing it wrong the whole time and they need this new thing. That is why they'll buy in your program. And then next, you go over your 4-step process to helping them achieve a desired goal. So this could be breaking down absolutely everything. For me, for Natt and everything, it was, onboard, watch the video modules, practice and do mock editing and all that stuff, and then get feedback from the creators, from the editors, all that stuff. Keep on improving, and then eventually we have a qualification test where they will be Natt Jongsala certified, and they'll be able to work for higher ticket coaches, right? So that was the 4-step process of being a better editor. Then here, you want to talk about the best case studies and testimonials. For us, Natt worked with some of the biggest creators. He worked with Toozer, he worked with Will Rivera, he worked with all of these different big creators. And we could leverage that to our advantage and say, if you want to edit like me, you'll be able to work with these type of people. And because everyone looks up to Toozer, Will Rivera, all that stuff, that is more reason to buy the program, right? Next steps, get them the next step, whether it's a DM you or book a call directly through the website. We personally did DM through IG because we want to qualify, we want to nurture all these guys. But if you want to do directly through your website, you can expect a ton of unqualified calls, but if you want to do that, go ahead, right? So post-booking, extremely warm leads when hopping on calls, 2 times the closing rate when they watch the post-booking video. We implemented this, made sure it's all good. And for some, we actually just straight up got them to watch the VSL again to make sure everybody's watching the VSL. So post-booking is also very, very important. So that is covering all the sales assets. Hopefully you guys are not too lost. Hopefully I've explained some stuff pretty well. And now we're going to go ahead and go towards appointment setting, which is where the real value is at. This is my expertise. And yeah, let's go ahead and run it. Bro, I take sales calls all the time. Like I talk for like 20 minutes straight, but I don't know why my throat is hurting so bad. So I'm going to be sipping water every now and then. All right, we back. Let's get to appointment setting. Let's go over what exactly the process I took to be able to hire some really, really good setters and just get them booking 5 calls a day. All right. So the first part of the appointment setting process was actually hiring the setters. And this is the hardest part by far. If you don't know how to hire setters, if you don't know how to find talent, you'll never be able to, really build out a good appointment setting team that is capable of booking 5 to 10 calls a day, which is what we were doing at the start. And so finding talent was a huge one. I had my ways of doing that. I have a course that I put out for free. Anyone can access it. You just have to kind of ask me for it. And I basically give out my course for free to hundreds and thousands of people. And they, learn appointment setting from me for free. And because I had that goodwill with them, whenever I post a story asking for setters, a lot of these guys reach out to me, and a lot of them have experience. One of the setters that are working for Natt right now actually worked with Tuzer. Some of them worked with, another coach with millions of followers. And so when I post a story, I automatically get a lot of talent coming in. And I also do weekly calls with setters for free in my sales community, where I just train them up. I go over specific things that you can do to improve as a setter. And so when I ask for setters, a lot of people reach out to me, and that's where we set the foundations, right? These video modules set the foundation and standard for every single setter I place. I go through the strategies that I want you to do. And I like to call my setting mastery video modules the holy grail of appointment setting. Now, it's not actually the holy grail, but that's what I like to call it. I think that the setters that I train up are one of the best in the space. They've been snagged up by a lot of big coaches. Not going to say any names, but yeah, I do train some really, really good setters. And part of that is the video modules and setting the expectation from the get-go, all right? So the onboarding and ramp-up period, 7-day ramp-up period, that's what we do to set the culture and everything. We review all the conversations, and we set the team culture to set the standard moving forward, all right? The 7-day ramp-up period actually sets the tone and gives the setters a good idea of what it's like to work with Natt and myself. It's how we book minimum 5 highly qualified calls per day. And this team culture actually allowed us to book 5+ calls a day. For Chris, was one of my good clients. His Instagram is brandbuilders.io. You can check him out. And we actually scaled him up from 4K to 30K per month cash collected with outbound alone, right? And so I implemented that strategy I did with Chris into Natt's, and we were just printing, right? And the reason why we were able to scale up 30K cash collected in 1 month is because they were hungry. They were hungry. The biggest thing in appointment setting is not actually the strategy. It's not actually the framework. I mean, those are all extremely important, but the most important thing is the setter's work ethic. Is he willing to work 8 to 10 hours a day? Is he willing to go in the trenches to be able to do outbound and not rely on inbound? That is the type of setter that you're gonna look for, right? And if you don't set that standard from the get-go, you are never gonna have a good setting team that will be able to book calls even when the lead flow is low, even when you don't get inbounds. And so how do you actually set the team culture? So I talk about past achievements, like what I've been able to do with other setters and their setting team numbers. So I go over specifics like this guy was booking 5 calls a day. That's the expectation I want you to have. And because they feel like I've already helped someone do it, then they're gonna wanna be able to do it as well. And so that's how you talk about team culture. That's how you set it, because the past achievements is what I want to, get even better at. I want to get better achievements. If we book 5 calls a day, I want to book 7. Why can't we beat that other team, So that's how we set it. And I make it a competition. So we give a bonus for the higher performing setter. And, this is just a small little $200 to $500 bonus. And it just, when someone books 3 calls, I'm like, yo, Why are you not booking more than 3? You see this other guy's booking 3, you know, and it's just like, it's not toxic, it's friendly. It's friendly competition. And not only that, I take care of them not just through appointment setting, but through their health and fitness. So not only do I take care of my appointment setters just through like the actual work itself, I take care of their health and fitness. The whole sales team has Whoop bands. You know, I track their sleep, I track their rest, I track their work, and everything. Like, I am obsessive. If I'm like that obsessive girlfriend that just, you know, knows what you're doing every single day. Because I believe that if you prioritize your health, if you sleep 8 hours a day, you work out, you do what you have to do, then your appointment setting will get better. And so a lot of coaches don't realize this. Look, your setters are humans too. They're not robots. You can't just expect them to set 8 hours a day and, you know, sleep 4 hours. You can't do that. So my goal as a growth partner to be able to manage and, you know, really scale up an appointment setting team is to track everything. Make sure that they're sleeping 8 hours a day. Make sure that they're working out at least 2 hours a day. Making sure that they're drinking enough water. All of these different things add up, and it makes them perform better when they actually do appointment setting. So many people neglect this. And I promise you, if you get your sales team a fitness tracker like a Whoop, I'm wearing one right now, I'm wearing a Whoop. If you do this, then you're gonna set the team culture, and it's gonna be a fun ride. My setters have so much fun on these calls because we're constantly talking about each other's performance. I'm making fun of them, I'm telling them, yo, you only slept 2 hours yesterday. What is going on? I'm holding them accountable, not just in appointment setting, but in life. That is why we've been able to generate such crazy results, not just for Nat, but for Chris, for Victor, for all my other clients, because I genuinely care for the sales team. When you do that, I promise you, your results will skyrocket, all right? So, enough about Whoop, enough about health. Setting KPIs, we have daily non-negotiables. Those are 150 follow-ups and 50 outreaches. Now, you may be wondering, why the hell are you doing outreaches when you're working with a 180K page? Because lead flow will always die down at one point, okay? Lead flow will always die down at one point. If you really rely strictly on follow-ups, you are setting yourself up for failure. You need to be able to do both outreach and inbound. And if anything, we've probably generated 30% of our revenue through outbound alone. Not even kidding, okay? So we got too much inbound to handle. We didn't focus too much on outreach. When I say too much, it's 50 outreaches, which is not bad, but there was more emphasis on the follow-ups with already hot leads. So usually it's minimum 100 outbounds and 150 follow-ups, but with Nat's team, we did 50 outreaches because he had a huge personal brand, had a lot of inbounds, and that's what we worked with. But if you don't have a huge personal brand, but you're still trying to scale, outreach is a must. And this outreach is specifically to warm engages, all right? Followers that are already liking your content, that are viewing your stories, that are that are basically fans of you. And you have to tap into them because it makes it frictionless. If someone likes your content, if someone shows support to your content, they are subconsciously saying that they want to buy your stuff. But they don't realize it. And so your goal as a setter, or the setter's goal, is to help them realize that they need us. And the way that we do that is through outbound. Very, very simple. And yeah, maintaining and managing. So how do we do this? After we ramp them up, after we set the KPIs, after we get them booking 5-ish calls a day, we do 1 or 2 setter calls per week where we actually, review conversations, all that stuff. It's with the setter to actually check in on the conversations, review some calls, give feedback, whatever, and all that stuff. And if something is wrong, we mock for 30 minutes to fix it. That is how much emphasis I put on appointment setting. Appointment setting is the lifeblood of the business. If you don't dial this in, you're not going to be able to, there's no point of dialing in closing. There's no point of dialing in the fulfillment, right? And so I put a lot of emphasis on setter management. And, eventually when it gets to a point where there's not a lot of fires coming up and it can be outsourced, then I outsource it to one of my other setter managers. And yeah, the setter manager is talking to the setters every single day, making sure that they're held accountable. That is very, very important. All right, this is closing. So this is actually very, very similar to the appointment setting process of hiring, finding talent, everything. So I'm gonna go through just the specific changes that I make and the specific differences, but for the most part, it is all the same. Finding talent, again, I have a whole pipeline. I know a lot of people. I know people that work for Bill Walsh. I know people that work for Jeremy Miner and, Luke Alexander. I know the best sales reps in the space. So whenever I'm looking for the best of the best, I can hit them up, or I can hit up So I post a story, say, hey, looking for a setter, closer, blah, blah, blah. And because I have so much goodwill, because all my courses are out there on the internet for free, then people will reach out to me, people will want to work with me, okay? So I built that goodwill, built the reputation. That's why I can get the best setters and closers. Onboarding ramp up, 7-day ramp up period. A lot of mock calls, reviewing past calls. So it's very, very similar to the appointment setters, but the only difference is that instead of doing mock setting, we do mock calls, and I absolutely drill them. I treat this like an army camp, I do, you need to do this, you don't say X, you have to say Y, you have to dig deeper and probe deeper, all that good stuff. And so we review the calls that they had in the past. What could they improve? We don't even do a mock first. We review the calls that they had in the past. What are they doing good? What are they doing bad? And we just absolutely drill them, okay? And the biggest advice I can get to train up closers if you're scaling up is to teach them how to probe deeper and get past to the real pain. Now, a lot of closers actually ask questions to get service level pain points. But, that's wrong, because if you get service level pain points, everyone's going to say, I need to think about it. And so whenever you get an I need to think about it objection, the chances are that you just didn't dig deep enough. You didn't get their real pain point. You didn't go under the surface level pain. To find their real pain point, okay? We absolutely drill this in them because every call is someone they close, even if they have no budget. If they have no budget, how can you be such a good sales rep that you can get a deposit, they can figure out how to get the money and, pay off the rest of the program? How can we be that good as a closer? That is what we want. I don't want closers that make excuses. Oh, they have no budget. 80% of the guys are going to have budget, but 20% of them are not. So what are you going to do? Are you going to just sit around and complain? Or are you going to try and close them and get them on a deposit and then get them to figure out how they're going to pay? That is the standard we set from the beginning, okay? And they need to know that they need to perform. They know that they need to perform, and there's pressure because I can get them replaced at any time. Now, it's not like I'm constantly saying you can get replaced at any time, but they do know that there's a chance that if I mess up 5 calls and I don't close a single one, I'm probably screwed, But I try to, the thing is, I do keep my setters and closers minimum, like the average lifetime of setters and closers in my business is around 3 months, I'd say, 3 to 4 months. So I don't fire too fast. I try to make it work because as long as they have the right mindset, we will train them up as soon as possible, okay? So that is that. Now, setting KPIs, setting team culture, and the daily non-negotiables. What we do is a 40% close rate minimum. And so, setting KPIs, right? How can you as a closer be so good that you can even close a broke prospect? Like we said in the last one. Now, that's just the standard we set. This means that this means that every day we review calls, we do mock practice, we repeat affirmations, and our closers literally look at everything as a challenge. Now, the most important thing is the 40% closing rate, right? If they achieve the 40% closing rate, then we're gonna bump it up to 50. If they achieve 50, we're gonna bump it up to 60. How can we always push you to be better? And that is why the mindset is so important. That is why finding the right talent is so important. Yes, they can be really good skill-wise, but how about mentally? Are they actually willing to go a bit crazy to achieve results no one else has achieved? That's what we're looking for. And if you're not willing to do that, then it's not a right fit. And so if someone came to me, if I had 2 potential candidates for a closer position, one of them was better skill-wise, but his mental was weak, and the other was better mentally, but lacking skill-wise, I'd always pick the other person because I can train him up. And I want a long-term closer that can work with us that has that mentality. I could care less about the skill. As long as you have the mindset and that you want to work nonstop to be able to improve your craft, we want you in our team, right? I made that very, very clear from the get-go. So to go back to this, I get them to actually role play with closers that have closed over $1 million in sales. We get them to constantly work with better people. And so that way they're getting better, not just through my coaching, but just others as well. Now, improving, getting better, basic stuff, 1 to 2 closer calls per week. We set high expectations, and this is the same stuff as the setter one. All right, let's move on to the consulting on the offer/fulfillment. All right, so with consulting on the offer and fulfillment, there were 5 different main points that we touched on. The first one was the onboarding process, right? They didn't have that quite yet, so we had an expectations form. This was the form that they fill out and kind of talk to them about, why exactly did you join this program? What are you looking to achieve out of it? What do you determine a success in this program? And so just kind of getting the expectations and overall feel for it. They get an automated email through Zapier, where it's an automated email that basically sends them all the links to the Discord, to the community, to the courses, everything that they need. All automated welcome message in the community. So kind of welcoming them all in the stuff. And then finally, to make it a really, really warm welcome, we get the client success manager, the coach, and others to reach out via DMs. We have this automated. So hosting group calls, the most important part was getting in the right frame, right? It was getting in the right frame, making sure that everyone is engaged, and there were different roles on these calls. And so the overall structure of these group calls was very, very simple. You send out a questionnaire beforehand, and the first part is going through an in-depth presentation answering these questions. Now, this is what makes a program really, really valuable. If you have in-depth answers to all the questions that they're gonna have, then you can answer each of them with examples, with presentations, with diagrams, with everything, right? So Nat and his team answered all their questions through presentation format. And we also had the client success manager ready in the chat answering any questions that they had. And then after the presentation section, we opened up the floor for some extra Q&A. The rest of the time was just checking in individually with the students, making sure everybody is progressing. So as you can see, the group calls were very, very structured. It wasn't just we hop on, you ask the questions, we're done. No, we wanted to provide a really, really good service that made sure that everyone had their questions answered fully, right? And we did this through an in-depth presentation. Sometimes Nat would even edit a video right in front of them for the first 30 minutes and just kind of show them exactly how to edit step by step. That's just how it was. And so the video modules, we consulted on the video modules, making it better. I got them to go through my videos, offer mastery, and a lot of calls and consulting to make sure that they got the hang of creating an irresistible offer. We were going through guarantees, bonuses, how to actually gift wrap the offer, make it really good. A lot of it was based on 100 million offers. So that really helped out. And yeah, the video modules were just really, really important because they had to really, really fulfill on that end. And the overall structure of the offer was very, very simple. You build the foundation at the start. It's usually mindset, right? And then we go through the characteristics of the top 1% editors. So what are the overall tips you'd give them, all that stuff. All of that is covered in the first portion. Now the second portion is where it's, extremely valuable. This is the editing mastery video module. So this includes step-by-step tutorials, storyboarding, actionable videos. Everything that they've actually paid for is in this video section right here. Now, a lot of coaches ask me, can I skip the first step? No, you cannot skip the first step because the mindset is everything, right? It's like throwing someone that has never gone through mindset training into the deep end. So let's say someone who's been playing games their whole life, watching YouTube, all that stuff, and you throw him in the army. He's gonna get fucked up. That's just what it is, right? He's gonna be all over the place. And so if you train him mentally and you show him what to expect, you show him what do the top 1% of army people do, how do you do that in your everyday life, then they're not just being better mentally, they're gonna be a better editor. They're gonna be ready for actually absorbing value from this program. So you prepare them to just be really, really good and, the best editor that they can possibly be, okay? So we get them all that, and then the next steps, taking the editing mastery, qualification test, making sure that they're qualified by Nat himself, and yeah. So the client success manager, this was another role that we had to fill out because the fulfillment was just a bit too crazy. We had to pick out the ideal fit, so I told Nat and Sky is Nat's business partner, that you guys had to pick out someone that, resonated with the business, that understood how to edit like a boss, and really was really, really good. And so you train him up, a lot of role plays, blah, 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 and he'd basically help you with the whole offer and the fulfillment on that process, all right? And the engaged community, this is where the real value actually comes in. People don't just invest in your course because of the videos and the value that they get. People invest in your course because of the people that they meet, the network that they're exposed to. And so building a strong culture was one of my top priorities going into this partnership. We had one-on-one calls to establish relationships, so making sure that everyone had an onboarding call, gamification and leveling up, and I'll kind of show you that later down the line. But it was one of the best ways to create a tight-knit community is to add level so people want to engage. And so to kind of break this down to you, in a school community, because that's what we hosted on, if you're level 1, you get this prize. If you're level 2, you get this bigger prize. If you're level 3, you get this bigger prize. And so it encourages everyone to engage in the community. It creates a live sense of, okay, these are my people. Everyone's here to support me. And the most active members, the most engaged people in the community get specific rewards. So it could be a one-on-one call with Natt. It could be, exclusive video modules. It could be exclusive training, whatever, right? Just making sure that people want to engage so that they get these prizes. That is what's going to make a really good program. So this is everything that we have in the consulting on offer fulfillment. Okay, we're here to the final part. If you are watching this video, respect, because even I want to click off this video. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. My voice is a bit raspy, but you're still here. That means that you want to scale your business, all right? Data review and stats. Hiring a VA. This is something AJ and Adi really helped me with. And yeah, track all the stats and numbers, pinpoint the exact problem. Nothing goes unturned. So the whole point of this is to make sure that everything boils down to science. Okay, we don't leave anything up to luck. We want to be able to control absolutely everything. So we track every single metric. We track the book calls. We track the calls proposed. We track the new leads message. We track absolutely everything. And this is not my expertise. AJ and Adi really helped me out with this. But they really, having this tracking system allowed us to be able to pinpoint where the problem was and how to fix it as fast as possible. So if we had an appointment setting issue, we need to know, okay, we look at the appointment setting data. All right, how many leads are we messaging? How many of those leads are actually converting? Is it a conversion problem? Is it a volume problem? Is it a lead flow problem? What exactly is it? And based on those data, we can figure out how we can solve this problem as fast as possible, okay? So we also have spreadsheets and tracking, review numbers on group calls, always looking to improve them. So we utilize the stats a lot. We go through these numbers as a team on the group calls to hold everybody accountable and see how each department is doing to encourage one another. So there's a sense of public accountability. If you as a setter, you didn't do your job this week and you only outreach to half of the people you meant to outreach to and you weren't as active, we're going to show those stats in front of everybody. That's just how it is. You have to keep yourself accountable because you are selfish if you don't put in the work. Because that means everybody else makes less money, including me and including everyone else, right? So there's a sense of public accountability where everybody's looking. When you feel tired, and I told my setter this, when you feel tired, just think about the end of the week. Would you be satisfied when everybody looks at you and thinks, man, this guy is lazy as fuck. He could have worked harder. This is nothing. Would you be satisfied when someone thinks, I'm working my ass off, I'm doing whatever I can, but this guy is not even trying? Would you be satisfied when that happens? If it's no, then go to work even when you don't feel like it. That is how we set the standard. That is how we set the team culture. And that is how we run everything. That is how we run the entire business. So that is everything we covered in this video. Very long video. If you stick to the end, very happy for you. Hope you got tons of value. Hope your note page is full of valuable stuff that you can implement in your business. Now, if you are looking to actually scale up your business, you want the exact systems and everything that we have here, go ahead and drop a comment on this YouTube video. Type the word LUCID, all right? LUCID. Drop a comment, LUCID, and your IG username. And what I'll do is I'll get my VA to reach out to you and send this specific LUCID chart to every single one of you that stayed to the end as a thank you, and yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed filming it. Voice is gone, but it is worth it. If you want to follow me on my socials, just check them out in the link in bio. I'm going to have everything listed down there. And yeah, hope you found value, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.